Battle Beast isn't just strong. He's a blood-soaked war machine with zero chill and the feats to prove it. He united his entire planet through violence, beat a Viltrumite into a coma, survived in space out of sheer rage, and even took a bite out of Grand Regent Throg. Oh, and he once disemboweled himself mid-fight. Why? Because pain doesn't apply to him. Today, we're diving into the bloodbath to break down the toughest fighters he's faced and the most brutal situations he's survived to figure out where he really ranks in the Invincible universe. Now, if we're going to start talking about Battle Beast's power, we've got to start with where it began. In issue 1 of Battle Beast's own spin-off comic, on his home planet of Dorne, where his real name was Throg, war was just the norm. It was just another Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and every other day of the week. Growing up in that environment, an all-consuming rage eating at him like a parasite from within, Battle Beast grew to be the strongest and most savage of his people. Through his sheer brutality and superiority, he was able to end the internal war and bring peace to his entire planet, none being able to oppose him. The only problem was, he's so strong and so battle-hungry that the peace just made him madder. So he left his world behind to find more fights. This is the real kicker. Battle Beast's rage is actually a curse of some kind that forces him to crave fighting. And since his only release from that is death, that's what he's looking for. In fact, he's been actively seeking it out for decades, even before the beginning of the Invincible series timeline, looking for someone stronger than him to kill him. The fact that he's still here kind of speaks for itself. Now, after years upon years of looking for strong opponents, Battle Beast ends up on Earth as we know, where he completely ruins a young and inexperienced Viltrumite known as Invincible.
Hello, boy.
At least in name, because that beatdown made him look mighty vincible in reality. Anyways, after returning from that poor fight in disappointment, Battle Beast ends up captaining a ship with an advanced AI on board after killing its crew. With the AI's help, Battle Beast begins a hunt for the strongest beings in the AI's database. Right off the bat, their first target is the most powerful being in that database, the Colossus of Imsui, who was known as the terror of the whole known universe before being tricked and sealed away. So naturally, Battle Beast sets him free and tells him to put him up. Unfortunately, for both of them, Battle Beast is so desperate to fight someone stronger than him, and Imsui is so arrogant that, well, that fight doesn't go like either of them want it to. Even though the Colossus can hit hard and regenerate rapidly, Battle Beast can just hit harder and faster than he can keep up. Hell, at one point, he straight up bites his way out of a chokehold, ripping the bigger guy's arm right off. Eventually, Battle Beast realizes this just isn't really worth his time and rips the other dude apart, like he literally rips him in half. The Colossus ends up being a disappointment and Battle Beast is still alive. Bummer. That's not even close to Battle Beast's real heavy-hitting achievements though, so hang onto your britches for these next ones. The Viltrumites. Time after time, Battle Beast found himself fighting the remaining members of the Viltrumite Empire, and time after time, the furry big boy's been disappointed to walk away live. First there was Mark during their original encounter, which was barely even a light workout for the beast. Finally, in comic issue 55, he'd come across the Viltrumites again while imprisoned, where he fights a guard during the prison break alongside Nolan and Alan. Seriously, he absolutely ruined that guy even after they got launched into space. Actually enjoying a battle for once, Battle Beast started getting real freaky, screaming for more as the two drifted off into the never-ending cosmos. All we know about how that ended is from the next time we see Battle Beast, where he's floating through space in hibernation, the Viltrumite's guts practically draped all over furry McFurface. The next time he came across the World Conquerors was in issue 75, where he fought Thula, although it might be a bit much to call it a fight, since he just smacks the crap out of her and then uses her as a club to smack more crap out of her allies. Honestly, it just gets embarrassing how much stronger he is compared to most everyone. As a matter of fact, Battle Beast is even powerful enough to single-handedly pulverize Ragnars, a species that are one of the only weaknesses of the Viltrumites, something that's been in detail in comic issue 115. All of this pales in comparison, however, to the greatest fight Battle Beast has ever had, the one that finally sated his hunger and gave him exactly what he wanted, his battle against the Grand Regent of Viltrum, Throg himself. In comic issue 115, Battle Beast vs. Throg is easily one of the dopest fights in the series, and for good reason. Throughout this battle, Battle Beast's true character and power are put on full display. As soon as he hears Throg is on the planet he's currently orbiting, Battle Beast launches himself out of his ship and crashes to the surface like a meteor, all without any armor for protection. After that, the fight begins. And this is probably just about the only fight where Battle Beast's toughness is put to the test. Throg really pushes him to the brink, keeping the fight evenly matched for the most part. After being pummeled, Battle Beast gets tossed around, thrown through giant stone structures and more. Not only is the fighting itself brutal, so is how long it lasts, because these two end up fighting for literal days. That doesn't mean Battle Beast just eats all the damage though. He gives just as good as he gets, even piercing Throg's head with a full-on bite at one point. The fact that he was able to penetrate Throg's skin with that puts him above Dinosaurus, who attempted the same thing on Throg, only for his fangs to shatter on contact. It wasn't just his head he bit through, because Battle Beast also bit his arm and dragged the fight out enough to destroy several cities in the process. Near the end, after Throg gets brutally wounded, Battle Beast shows his more honorable side and fully slices right into his own guts to even the playing field. Ultimately, a poor move in the moment, since it's a big part of how Throg managed to pull out the win in the end. While it granted Battle Beast his long-standing wish to kick the bucket with a bang, it's also pretty questionable if the fight was really a loss. Now, since we've got most of his strength feats out of the way, it's time to talk about just how ridiculously durable Battle Beast is, even for one of his species. Put simply, the guy is a freaking unit. He shrugs off Invincible's attacks early in the series. He laughs through punches from adult Viltrumites, even when they do some actual damage. He tanks a crash from freaking orbit like he's just built different, which he is to be fair, but you know. He fully eats all of Throg's attacks. Hell, he's even shown to be all but unkillable by natural means. That time after escaping the Viltrumite prison, he was floating around in space for ages before being saved, and he managed to survive through that just fine. That's not all though. According to Battle Beast during one of his journeys with the AI ship he stole, his species are so fully bred for war that their bodies can survive damn near anything, including starvation. When faced with the threat of being lost alone in an empty corner of space until he starves to death, Battle Beast just laughs. All he has to do is destroy the ship he's in and toss himself in a random direction. No matter how long it takes to come across some kind of organic life to eat, he can hold on until then, which is technically exactly what happened after the Viltrumite prison we just talked about. Even the Colossus he fought wasn't really able to do much damage to Battle Beast, and that's truly saying something. Now, we've gone over Battle Beast's greatest exploits, so before we go ahead and make a final judgment on just how strong he is, let's go ahead and review all the abilities he's got under his belt. First off, a laundry list of superhuman stuff. Superhuman strength, as seen in his victory over Invincible and the Guardians, his victory over multiple Viltrumites, and his fight with Throg. Superhuman speed and reflexes, as seen in all his battle and especially against Throg. And superhuman endurance, tissue density, and stamina, as seen in every ridiculously dangerous situation that he survived like it was nothing. Then there's the fangs that can pierce the strongest Viltrumite skin, claws that may well be capable of the same, hand-to-hand combat proficiency, and skill with several weapons like swords, axes, and maces. So with all this in mind, just where does Battle Beast rank on the dreaded power scale? Well, at the lower level of the metaphorical food chain, against non-Viltrumite beings, he's easily at the very top. There's pretty much no one that even comes close to him in an actual fight, except maybe Alan in Alien, and that's only after decades of stacking Zenkai boosts. Even then, it's debatable if Alan's actually stronger. Next, in the mid-tier Viltrumite category, Battle Beast still stomps pretty much everyone, as seen with Thula, the prison guards, and more. Now we get to the real juicy matchups, Omni-Man and Invincible. Now it's a little tricky because if we're talking end of series Invincible, then he's easily stronger, but for the actual main timeline, Mark would probably lose, considering it took everything he had to beat Throg, and even that was with help. While Battle Beast fought him to a stalemate, Battle Beast would probably beat him. It would be extremely high diff though if we were talking post-war Mark. As for Omni-Man, well, it's pretty much the same. It'd be extremely high difficulty and would honestly go either way depending on any complications in the middle of the fight. If we're talking pure hands and tactics though, Battle Beast may well eke out the win. Now possibly the most interesting matchup is Conquest, mainly because of just how similarly bloodthirsty both these characters are. Despite this, there's one key difference that would likely spell the Viltrumites' defeat. Conquest fights for domination and to claim some kind of superiority over his opponents. Battle Beast, on the other hand, even if he enjoys a good fight, fights very differently. His goal is purely to kill or be killed, with both outcomes being almost equally welcome. With that in mind, Battle Beast would very likely beat Conquest too, bringing him right to the strongest foes he's faced, Throg. In this case, we don't really have to wonder how it'd go. Granted, it was at least partially because of him literally slicing his own guts open, but Battle Beast did lose to Throg. So, in conclusion, Battle Beast comes in quite comfortably at the rank of third strongest fighter in the Invincible universe, with only Prime Mark and Throg being above him. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell to be notified of any latest uploads. That said, see you in the next one.